you continue your research on the various types of law. And if we flip back to page 16, the second paragraph there, if you want to understand the difference between common law, equity law, and admiralty law, I strongly recommend that you go to the internet, to this ptialaska.net, and read The USA, the Republic is the House that no one lives in. It is a 58-page document that you can download for free. Don't give me, oh man, 58 pages? Oh, that's a lot. Okay, don't read it and let your liberties go down the toilet. Liberty is not going to be easy. Reading a 58-page document is the least of your worries. And it is at the very least that you can do to protect your liberty. And that will give you a very, very clear understanding of the different forms of law and how much of this derives from Roman civil law, where you have no rights. So, we want to continue law. This is not all of the law. It's the three that are constitutionally specified, but there are other laws. All the laws written by Congress since the Constitution was written are called statutes. Originally, they were organized by date. That was the law that we passed in 1789. That was the law that we passed in 1791. Well, when they weren't passing very many laws, that was easy. And then eventually, it was, gosh, was that the law that we passed on Monday or the one that we passed on Tuesday? And then eventually, Monday morning, Monday afternoon, gosh, was that before or after lunch? I just can't remember all these laws we're passing. So they organized them by index. And we have 50 titles. Those 50 titles are part of the United States Code. And you can download the United States Code off of the internet. And I give you a website on page 18. Basically at the bottom of page 18. You can download them. The only thing is that you've got to download each title by itself. So it's a little bit monotonous, but you get all the information. You can also order a CD-ROM. I think it's about $35, $40. You can get it from the National Archive, and you'll have everything on one CD-ROM. Amazing stuff. I highly recommend it. Now, within the United States Code, there are two types of law. Positive law and non-positive law. Positive law applies to everybody. The Freedom of Information Act, Title V, that applies to everybody. Black, white, male, female, young, old, doesn't matter. It applies to you. Some of these laws are non-positive law. They don't apply to everybody. Title 27 of the United States Code is alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Now, if you distill alcohol, or grow tobacco, or build guns, you fall under alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, and you have to pay special taxes. Anybody here distill alcohol, grow tobacco, build guns for a living? Okay. Well, if you don't do any of those things, then Title 27 does not apply to you. And it is non-positive law. It only applies to the people who do those special things. Now, if it is positive law, it says so. You go to Title V, it says, this is positive law. Right there at the top. Well, you can go through the 50 titles, flip over to page 18, and I have given you a list of all the positive law titles. These are the laws that you apply to you and absolutely must be followed. Okay? And out of the 50 possible titles, only 22 have been enacted into positive law. Can you find Title 27? Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms? No, because it's not positive law. Please find Title 26, Internal Revenue. 23, 28. 26 should fall right in between there someplace. Title 26 is not positive law. It does not apply to everyone. And your question is, who does it apply to? And it's a perfectly valid question. Okay, one that we are going to be asking the IRS here very, very soon. But basically, the people who are liable for income tax are non-resident aliens, foreign corporations, and United States citizens living and working in a foreign country. So if that doesn't describe who you are, then you are not liable to the Title 26 tax code, which is a shock and a surprise to many people, although not in this group. Now, one of the interesting things is that the current federal income tax regulations define gross income to mean all income from whatever source derived unless excluded by law. So there are some incomes which are not gross income. The regulations explain that the items of income compensation for services make up classes, and then regulations direct the reader to another section which provide classes. A class of gross income may be excluded income. And that leads to a section, it's very, very convoluted. I mean, they can't just say it in black and white because then you'd know. They've got to go jump from here to there and make it really complicated. But eventually, you find out that this leads to a section where the types of income that are not considered to be exempt, eliminated, or excluded are listed. And the list only includes income from certain types of international and foreign commerce. How many people here are doing international or foreign commerce? I didn't think so. So, what you can do, for those of you who are interested in this, you can go to page 52 of the handout. And I have a long list of websites that you can do research in or at, establishing basically what the tax code is, what it says, and I'd like to repeat the 3 rules listed over on the side. Principled American who decides to exercise his or her rights in the face of government should be careful to pay attention to 3 rules. Rule number 1, protect your property. Rule number 2, get educated. Then rule number 3 is take action. Do not do them in the reverse order. The government does not play fair. They do not play nice. If you are going to do this at all, be prepared for the ride of your life, because it's going to take pretty much all of your energy. Now, most of the law here in the United States falls under the Uniform Commercial Code, the UCC. Now, uniform means the same, or, basically everything is alike. What they did in the early 1930s is to take equity law, where the judge has an arbitrary decision, and admiralty law, and combine them together into the UCC, uniform. So that equity and admiralty are now the same. That makes everything a lot more convenient, doesn't it? Convenient for whom? Convenient for you? No, the people who were taking advantage of it. This is Uniform Commercial Code. What does commerce mean?
Trade.
Trade, contract. And code is not law, necessarily.